After Bethesda's failure with Fallout 76 and BioWare's failure with Mass Effect Andromeda, there's an audience of players dying for a good quality single-player AAA role-playing game, and it looks like we're getting that next from Obsidian Entertainment. I actually think The Outer Worlds is coming at the perfect time, and really could be the game to boost the company to a more mainstream level. Now, the game has been in development for just about 2 years, and is supposed to release sometime next year in 2019. Even though Obsidian is under the Microsoft umbrella now, the game will be releasing on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Steam, as the company is making this game for Take-Two's private division. This deal to make The Outer Worlds for Take-Two was a deal made a while before Microsoft's acquisition of the developer, and Obsidian has said this game does not have a big AAA budget or have 1,000 people working on it, but it does have a talented group of I believe less than 200 developers working on it, including the original creators of the Fallout franchise and many developers who worked on Fallout New Vegas. Now, as you'll notice in the background of this video, the first gameplay demo footage of The Outer Worlds will be playing, and I now will go over pretty much everything we know, as Obsidian did a few interviews with gaming outlets like Game Informer, IGN, and PC Gamer, and revealed a ton of new details. Nonetheless, let's begin with a question I personally have had that is now answered, and that is whether or not The Outer Worlds is an open world game or not. Obsidian confirmed that it is not like the typical Fallout 4, The Witcher 3, where you have this huge world that is all connected and you can go anywhere, but instead you can explore the Halcyon system, which consists of 2 main planets, several moons, asteroids, and space stations. But this is not an open world game like No Man's Sky, where you can fly planet to planet and explore everything, which I will say this decision by Obsidian is not a bad one, as with a game like No Man's Sky, what it lacked was content. What Obsidian has chosen to do, it seems, is add smaller, more detailed handcrafted environments that yes, we can roam around and explore in, that are scattered about on the 2 planets and the various moons. Additionally, in space, we'll also have the ability to travel to asteroids and space stations. But the most important thing is these smaller little areas will have quests and some side content for us to discover and encounter. But pretty much our ship will be our tool for traveling to these locations. Obsidian's Leonard Boyarsky said this about the world: a lot of the map is opened up right after you get your ship, so you don't have to follow the story immediately. There are points of no return, but we like to keep your options open for as long as possible. Additionally, it was said that certain locations will need passcodes to unlock and gain access to them. With location names or details about the places that we can explore, details are a little scarce so far, but we do know that the 2 planets in the system were both meant to be terraformed. Terra 2, which is called Planet Halcyon, it worked, which means that planet, as IGN writes, is Earth-like, with planets and trees and animals. But it's not really Earth. Those trees are mostly oaks and kinda pines, trademarked most likely. That animal crawl-slithering in the grass-like field is a leather boa, a snake-like thing that's broader and fatter than Earth snakes, because it's been genetically modified and bred to produce more leather. But with Terra 1, which was meant to be terraformed, things did not go to plan, which this world being called Monarch has become a planet full of monsters, which is more dangerous and features many more threats. Other than these details on the 2 different worlds, we know that there is a place that looks similar to an Old West mining town that is actually set on the planet of Monarch, and there also seems to be a variety of other places, including maybe a wealthy city. Now, to the game's story and factions, we did get some more details on that. If you're unaware, in The Outer Worlds, we will be able to create our own character from the start, who is voiceless, and to the official description, you will awake from hibernation on a colonist ship that was lost in transit to Halcyon, the furthest colony from Earth, located at the edge of the galaxy, only to find yourself in the midst of a deep conspiracy threatening to destroy it as you explore the furthest reaches of space and encounter various factions, all vying for power. The character you decide to become will determine how this player-driven story unfolds. And the corporate equation for the colony, you are the unplanned variable. Speaking to PC Gamer, Leonard Boyarsky confirmed more about how things open up and the immediate decisions given to us, the player. You were part of a ship that got lost. You've been frozen for 70 years. If you're frozen for more than 10 years, it's a really bad thing. This guy, the scientist that was shown in the debut trailer, the one waking us up, figured out a way to save you, and he needs you to help him get more chemicals to help help save the rest of the colonists, but you don't have to help him do that. You can go to the evil board, the Halcyon corporate board, and turn this guy in and see what happens. If you do that, you may get a lot of money. So with any role-playing game, these are the things I love to see. Decisions like being truly evil or good could mean serious replay value, which is great in my opinion. But next though, we get some more background on a few of the corporations, as it said that a big theme in this game is tribalism, meaning those who work for a company like Spacer's Choice hates those who work for Auntie Cleo's, and vice versa. And in conversations like one that's in some of the gameplay shown in this video, you can hear or see an NPC who works for Auntie Cleo's trashing Spacer's Choice, while ending your conversation with them by promoting his employer Auntie Cleo's. Something that you may have noticed is that these corporations have their logos and names everywhere, which based on this latest gameplay footage, it seems it literally is everywhere. The corporations control everything, and it appears a big mission in this game will be fighting that power. Now, we did get more background on both Spacer's Choice and Auntie Cleo's. There seems to be more corporations, but these are just the first two that we're learning about. It said though, each corporation will have its own personality and quirks, so as IGN states, Auntie Cleo's mostly makes food and drugs, lots of drugs, and they're the good stuff. On the other hand, Spacer's brand makes everything, but it makes the cheapest version of it. Everything it makes unfailing breaks, but it's really easy to repair, so your mileage may vary. Getting into the next part of this video we have is gameplay details, and there is a ton. So first, companions are confirmed and we can have 2 at max travel with us. We cannot romance them. This is something that Obsidian was debating on, but they ultimately chose not to. Companions when traveling with us will share our inventory and we can manage what they have, but it also just gives us more space for ourselves if we choose to use it that way. Companions come with their own 3 skills that they are really good at, as well as perk trees, which if you level up, your companion does as well, and you'll have the ability to choose which perks that your companion gets when they level up with you. As you'll see in the background, the woman that was in the debut trailer is actually called Ellie, and she is a companion. There's also Felix, who we don't know or have seen much of yet, but there seems to be more companions that we can recruit. Each companion also brings their own preferences and special attacks. For example, Felix has a dropkick takedown. Tim Kaine did give a big description of what players should expect from this feature, saying, "You encounter all the companions in the first third of the game because it's no fun getting a companion in the last hour. They are designed to touch most of the major skills, so they are all different, but there is some overlap, so there's not just one guy who is really good at ranged attacks or one person who's a good doctor. They also play off of all the different ways a player can play. Like if you're playing a psychopath, we show how all these companions react to that. If you're being really nice, not all the companions are going to be like, oh great, you're a hero." Now lastly, with companions, if you make enough decisions your companion disagrees with, they will bail on you and head back to your ship, which it appears you can go back to them and try and talk them into opening up to your viewpoint and staying. And actually, a more minor detail I almost forgot, which is based on some of the gameplay shown in this video, is that when your character is talking to an NPC, there may be a dialogue option that pops up which allows your companion to have a part in the conversation that you're having. I noticed that dialogue option for Ellie when you were talking to a scientist, and just found it as a really neat detail which makes your companions traveling with you more than just an extra gun. But moving on with weapons, there are 4 different types in the game, being energy, melee, science, and bullet. We will be able to modify our weapons, and there is a weapon wheel which when opening appears to slow down time around you. There are also 3 levels of ammunition with light, medium, and heavy. It has been said that there's only a degree of level scaling on enemies, which means you can go to more difficult areas early on. As you may have already seen in the background, there is a Fallout VATS-like system in place, which is called Tactical Time Dilation, which like VATS slows down time, but you have to manually aim and are able to view information on enemies like their health, faction, type, and armor level. You'll also be able to build into this system through skills, allowing you to stay in the mode longer or use it more often. A big benefit of using this feature, other than the slowing of time, is that you do extra damage. One of the big new features that is being implemented is called flaws, a feature that Tim Kaine has wanted to use for years. Pretty much flaws are optional negative traits that you can accept after something happens in the game, like a battle with a certain enemy. If you choose to take on the flaw, it is permanent, but you gain a perk point immediately. In total, on a normal difficulty, you can have 3 flaws, while in hard mode you can have 5. But now to a quick rundown of some of the other confirmed details and features. There are 6 skills in total, and for every 20 points that you put into one, up until 100 you'll gain a new perk. You can play as a dumb character in which the characters around you will react accordingly, and I believe the gameplay in the background is the Obsidian developers playing the dumb route. Hacking and lockpicking does not have mini games and are simply based on your stats. Obsidian's not sure if you can finish the game playing as a pacifist, but if you wish to play as a psychopath and kill everyone, you will be able to complete the game that way. Your spaceship will be used to fast travel to different locations within the colony. It will include an inventory where you can store items, and your onboard AI Ada will control flying. Your spaceship is also your home base where companions will stay. This is where some of them may give you a companion related quest, which probably will give us more details on their backstories. Player choice is a big focus, as Tim Kaine explains. We always ask ourselves, how are people going to react in the game, and what do we think they're going to want to do? We added a lot of different playthrough paths. For combat, we have both melee and ranged, but players also have stealth and dialogue options. Then we have all the hybrids, like what if you want to sneak through part of the map and then talk your way out of a jam. The game's currency is indeed called bits, and the official description in-game reads as follows. Bits are an electronic currency generated by room-sized Earth Directorate mint frames back on Earth. They consist of non-duplicatable codes and ciphers, and can be transferred from one cartridge to another. On the screen now are some new gameplay images as well as concept art showing off a few enemy designs and corporation advertisements. But in conclusion, there's a lot of reasons to be excited for the Outer Worlds. Something I haven't really talked about is the amount of games that the Outer Worlds feels like. In many ways I get that Fallout vibe, but also there's some Mass Effect with how your spaceship works, No Man's Sky with the color palette of some of the locations, Borderlands with the humor, and Bioshock with combat. Putting all of this together, it really could be something different and special. But more importantly, it's coming at a perfect time for Obsidian when many gamers are having doubts with Bethesda and BioWare, who for the longest time dominated this genre. CD Projekt Red quickly flew to fame with The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, and I think there's a solid chance that Obsidian's breakthrough game could be the Outer Worlds. Obviously the release is still a while from now, but so far things look great. Anyway guys and gals, what do you think of the Outer Worlds? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, but thank you for watching. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy this video or found any informative value, and consider subscribing for more videos on the Outer Worlds, and I'll see you later.